in the conversations, we're following on the footsteps of the arch himself, who has spoken out very consistently on matters of justice, on matters of truth and peace. And with regards to matters of justice, he has consistently spoken about the need to advance social justice, being about closing the inequality gap and ending poverty. He has spoken consistently about the need for integrity in governance and governing ethically in such a way that there's adherence to the Constitution, to human rights, and that globally the needs of all citizens and residents are met.
Do you think we are regressing as the globe in terms of maintenance of peace and stability, including issues around security?
Absolutely, Sophie, we are regressing on matters of peace. And the reason we are regressing on matters of peace and social cohesion is because we are regressing on matters of equality. And those who are left behind are increasingly angry about being left behind, but then they are at the mercy of political entrepreneurs or what other people would refer to as demagogues. And those are looking for votes. I mean, it doesn't matter how evil their message may be, they will get votes in whatever way possible. You will see that they behave like vultures. They see that people are unhappy about one or two things, and then they divide in order to rule.
The COVID-19 has actually laid bare the challenges of inequality. Where do we start to address these challenges of inequality?
Right, and you're right, COVID-19 has shown us the truth that has always been with us, but some of us were not seeing it. I think we have to start at two places at the same time. Firstly, we have to address basic needs, which are issues of hunger and making sure that nobody goes without a meal. So people's basic needs are met. That's why many of us are suggesting that we should have the basic income the basic income grant or something similar to that. And in South Africa, we're happy, for example, that for now, the government has agreed to continue paying the 350 Rand, which is too little. And we're hoping that by the time we have the next budget, the amount will be increased and the amount will be made permanent. But secondly, as I said, it's two levels. So that is meeting basic needs. We also need to meet strategic needs, which is rethink the economy. And from Tuma, we are saying, stop thinking about jobs at this stage. Look at the issue of work, because everyone from village to the city needs to work or is already working, but they're not being compensated, or they're already working for themselves, but they're not being supported. And therefore we're saying we need to rethink what we are going to do to move forward. And at the core of that will be two things: how we distribute government resources. It's not enough to say we're building cities here and there. We want to know what's the democracy dividend for each ward. In the whole amount of money that you are using in the coming year for all of us, how much in that money will go into each ward in this country? That's going to be important. How much of that money is going to young people? How much of that money is going to women? How much of that money is going to big business? We need to disaggregate where are we spending our money and who's benefiting more from the money that is being spent in the name of all of us. So that's the distribution of the cake, but also then invest in work to make sure that as a country, we use the lessons learned from COVID-19 to build resilient communities. And I like, the slogans of some of the parties that are talking about building better together, because building back is not going to work. We are in this mess, firstly, because there was inequality that we did not disrupt. the legacy inequality here in this country and in other countries.
Advocate, the issue of social justice, the theme social justice, or the, when you look at that, what is your view and how can this be achieved, this social justice?
So for social justice, simply put, is fairness to all, and it's fairness between social groups. And it comes from John Rawls in 1971. No group should benefit better than any other group in society, and no group should find it more difficult to exist and to enjoy opportunities in society. And therefore, social justice is about creating a world where there is equal enjoyment of all rights and freedoms. And this will be reflected in a just, fair, and equitable distribution of all societal resources. That includes wealth, societal opportunities, benefits, privileges, as well as burdens. So practically what it means, Sophie, is that it's not enough to say we're delivering to all and we're delivering just in time. What is enough is saying we're delivering to all in response to their needs, but also in fidelity to the constitutional duty to disrupt inequality and advance equality.
Advocate, when we look at what you spoke about, in terms of the democratic institutions that we have in the country, are they holding during this critical time?
I think they've held, Sophie. If our democratic institutions were not holding, we would not be talking of a country, we would not be talking of having survived COVID and being able to build better going forward. However, you're raising an important question. They're not holding adequately. I think there's a lot that we've not done right, and many of them have had their legitimacy eroded, their competency eroded, and their moral culture also eroded. And a lot of it has to do with appointing people who don't qualify, appointing people on the basis of friendships and political affiliations, but also the reality of elements of the states that were captured. And I know that the Commission is still going to declare whether there was full state capture or not. But we do know that there are instances such as in ESCOM, the trillion matter, etc., where there's a very clear narrative that has been aired in court that shows that those elements of the state were captured. I mean, look now, we've lost Daniel. And many of these institutions are really they're beyond critical but stable.
Falling apart, really, maybe?
They're falling apart. And it just was appointing wrong people for wrong reasons and also micromanaging those people for wrong reasons.